Howdy everybody, welcome back to the garage. Hopefully everyone's having a fantastic holiday. It's been a while since our last update on the 914 project, but we're gonna show you our project. We got some primer in the tub, we got the floors all welded in, we got a bunch of suspension parts behind us. We're gonna go ahead and give you a quick overview of what these parts look like and how we plan to use them. All right, a little progress update on the interior of the 914. So in our previous videos, you've seen we were doing the fabrication in here, getting the new front and rear floor pans welded up. And we've achieved that. So it got all the stitching all done. Still a little bit to do on the seat mounts and some other areas that we would like to fix, but so far so good. Nice light coating of self-etching primer, really trying to do our best to preserve this 50-year-old steel from rusting any further. And in the meantime, we've been really busy with getting the suspension all set up on the car, working with vendors, trying to figure out what the right direction to go on these components. So we'll go ahead and start from the front and work our way to the rear. So up front here, we got some factory 914 4-cylinder control arms with the steel cross member. And some of the components we're using is the spherical control arm bearing set from Elephant Racing. They got beautiful documentation on how to install this. So we're gonna go ahead and use those on the front. Went through the factory steering assembly, took it all apart, greased it, inspected it, made sure all is well. Put some turbo tie rods, also from Elephant Racing. And then the front here, we got some Elephant Racing Bond Shocks coilover conversion. So we knocked all the tabs off of the strut, and that allowed us to get the coilover conversion kit on. Found the last set of hubs available at LA Dismantler, and we went ahead and blasted those, got those prepped with new bushings, put some new studs in them. Fantastic little bit of kit there, so that'll complete some of the front assembly. As for the brakes, these are Willwood front caliper assembly, vented rotors. These are for a 911, so you should bolt right on. 3.5-inch caliper spacing, and then we got Otte 19mm master cylinder up there. Holding up the struts, we got some Elephant Racing monoball caster camber plates. Fantastic kit with some documentation. In the rear here, we have some Patrick Motorsports box trailing arms. These have already been fabricated on. And we got Elephant Racing polybronze bushings in the front. Willwood big brake kit on the rear with the 914 cable operated e-brake system. And holding up the rear of the suspension, we got Bond shock coilover conversion on some Bilstein shock. So this is what we're going to be using on our project, and we're going to go ahead and get started assembling some of this stuff. I know we're a long way from paint, but I think that's maybe a year away. I'm not really concerned about paint. I'm more concerned about getting this car on the ground and running, and I want it to be a moving project. So we will get all this stuff in the car. All right, so here's a look at one of the steering joints for the 914. As you can see, in this direction, it floats very nicely. In this direction, it feels like it has like a detent or something in it, just very notchy. We ran an ultrasonic cleaner a bunch. It was doing that before, but now we're gonna throw it in the tumbler with some steel pins and see if we can clean it up. If it's toast, it's toast, but at least we're gonna do a test and see how this thing cleans parts. All right, we're gonna go ahead and check on these parts. They've been in here for about a half hour, see how it runs. Nice and soupy here. Try not to drop too much. All right, here's a closer look at our hardware after we dried it off with that dirty foam that was on it. And yeah, I couldn't be more pleased with the outcome here. One thing you want to be mindful of is you want to put the nuts on any of the bolts that you can, from damaging the threads. And I would probably run small parts and large parts kind of by themselves and let the pins do it work. I went ahead and threw some rubber parts in there to kind of dampen the noise, and it really did a fantastic job conditioning the rubber. Here's one that was done, and here's one that was not. So you can see it kind of deburred the holes a little bit, polished it, and to be honest, this feels a little bit more conditioned rubber. So it does a fantastic job in the rubber. The rubber help kind of dampen the noise a little bit, keeping things from shocking each other. And we'll go ahead and run these in ultrasonic one more time. But yeah, very pleased with that little procedure there. All right, here's a look at our steering joint that we threw in a tumbler. Fantastic finish after running it in the tumbler with the stainless steel pins. We ran this thing solo by itself so it didn't beat up other parts. But you can see, cleaned all of the interior bits, the splines, removed all the rust. It's got a nice polished surface, and look at, we even fixed the joint on it. And what happens is if you hammer a screwdriver in here to get it off, then you tend to mess with the angle here and distorts the pin. But we went ahead and ironed that out, and now we got a perfectly functional joint, rust-free. So very happy with the results for that. Make sure you get all the pins out of the crevices before you put it back together, and we'll get back to work. All right, we managed to get some of these parts on the car. We'll go ahead and start at the top and work our way down. So from P&B Performance, we got a new reservoir, brake lines, and that whole outfit. We got our quick change caster camber plates in there from Elephant Racing. We got a Bilstein 1982 strut that we put the Von Schock Elephant Racing coilover conversion kit. Still got to add the wiper seals. We're going to add some Von Schock's shocks in there, so those have to come apart still. We're also going to raise the spindles. Here you can see the way the brake lines are out. We also use Elephant Racing brake line relocation kit, turbo tie rods, or you can see all of our factory powder coated 914 stuff. Got to get a plug for the old torsion bar holes, 3.5-inch strut assembly, Willwood brakes, which are currently jammed up, I guess, because I just got done bleeding the brakes. And then got the brake pedal assembly back in there. Now onto the rear, our ultimate trailing arm setup, the Willwood 5-lug conversion, and we got Von Schock's coilovers in the rear. But we're gonna get to the next part, which is getting this motor inside the car. A lot of work to do here. We pulled this out of a crate from Rich Von Tempe at High Performance House. It did not look anything like this when I got it, so a lot of work to do, and yeah, excited for the progress. So thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.